Before we can get into this episode of the DevCast, be sure to like, subscribe, and join our community linked down below. Hello everyone and welcome to the DevCast, your weekly Roblox podcast for all Roblox-related content and personal up-close interviews and conversations with some of your favorite Roblox creators. I am your host, Dev for Hire, and this is my co-host, a Unix developer. And so far, welcome to our weekly news roundup where we talk about all the spicy stuff that's been happening this week. And in first, I actually just want to essentially say that it has been a very slow news week. So unfortunately, we have very few topics this week. Unfortunately, there's not a lot to talk about. So far, in terms of topics, we essentially have a Nerf event, which has recently been released by Roblox, which I find, which is very interesting. I think that's quite cool. Electric State, a Roblox game. I think that was a front page game, if I could remember. Quite an interesting game. It was taken down for copyright for a certain amount of particular reasons. And lastly, Russo and his crew have recently released something known as Infinite Canvas. I'm not sure what it is. We'll actually get into that essentially. But we're going to be discussing what that's all about. And that's essentially the topics that we have today. So you know what? Instead of talking about anything else, I think we should just get into it. Not much to essentially talk about at the current moment, unless you want to talk about how your week is. But I don't think our weeks have been particularly interesting. All right. Okay. Sorry, I just had to take a sip of my coffee. Absolutely delicious. All right. So let's actually get into the Nerf event. So far, Roblox has been doing a partnership with, I think it's Hasbro. I think they manufactured the toys. But what they've done is there's been a new recent Nerf event where they've essentially set up a Nerf hub where you could just blast it out with whatever blasters you have, and there's as well as an arena. I think this is quite cool. I think it's an interesting collaboration, and I think I personally, I think I like the gun designs as well. They actually are quite interesting. Like the real life toy guns that they are, essentially manufacturing with Hasbro. I think we talked about this pretty much last time about Roblox toy guns. I don't necessarily have too many thoughts on it, but
I mean, for quality, the Nerf guns are made away from the company, so just take. That's different. And then you've got, which is they're just injection mold creations, and then they just assemble them at factories. But anyway, that aside, the actual Roblox side of things, and then the commercial side, is quite unique. The hub for the Nerf event is actually spent time on it. You can actually see, actually spent some time on it, some detail. It's actually a good event. You've got in the hub, it's quite simple. You've got the arena, I believe, and you've got a bunch of portals which you can go into the game and try and earn the gun.
Oh wait, did you actually play the game?
Yes.
Oh, all right. You actually had an experience.
Bunch of portals, and you can go in the portals and take you to the game. And they've got a projector which projects up a little gun 3D model, which I think so. I think it's pinned, I'm not sure. Didn't look at it close enough.
Wow.
They have all the guns, so it's quite a good little kit actually. Right. From the creative side of things, I think they've done a spectacular job. I know it's rushed. I know they always rush them, but I think this is actually they spent enough time.
An actual good event, yeah. Well, they were actually hinting it for quite a while. So they actually had the whole game and hats ready long before the event. I think it just took a matter of time in terms of developing the actual event. And in terms of just the actual physical gun toys alone, I just want to have to say, I think this is likely the very first actual physical branded object sponsorship Roblox has ever had in terms of an actual full-on event just based on actual toy objects or. If I could remember, I don't know so far of any physical asset branding partnerships that Roblox have done. So cheers to that, I guess. Yeah.
No, I think they have done them in the past. but I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think we could
really,
probably
like,
remember to save our
related.
lives. Probably, yeah, they probably
Well, I
have.
mean,
I
you
wouldn't be
done the
surprised.
Hot Wheels one. But didn't really think the cars really
Ah.
were Roblox based, were they? They were just the
Yeah,
official,
they're just
Hot
yeah.
Wheel cars.
It's yeah, it's
They
it's.
were,
I think yeah,
they weren't custom.
yeah, they're not it's not Roblox hasn't done an event with Hot Wheels for the toys in particular, like to highlight the toys. It's just they just do that partnership to say go buy some Hot Wheels cars. But yeah, I think this is the first time they've actually ever just are essentially saying, hey, play these games and you can get benefits with these certain guns. I mean, I
But
think
then
wait.
they did release that Hot Wheel weird track thing, which I couldn't work out how you use it.
Yeah.
But it was like this toy. They haven't made 3D models for Hot Wheels in the past, but I just haven't really. That's really it. They've just
Yeah.
made in-game items. That was before UGC ever existed.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting.
They're
going back to the past.
Makes me wonder if Phantom Forces actually included that toy gun in their game. That would be quite hilarious.
No,
I think.
I saw the clip. I don't think I don't know.
I wonder if I'm just questioning. Maybe because I know in Adopt Me, if you buy the honey gun, you can actually shoot out honey that can feed your pet essentially, and you don't have to. It's actually quite awesome because then you don't actually have to buy so much pet food and So
Secret Murder Mystery is doing it.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder, how does Phantom Forces actually using their little toy gun? I mean, it's actually quite small, it's minuscule. I think my whole hand could cover the gun if I wanted to. So it just makes me wonder. It actually makes me want to go play Phantom Forces.
Quite a good little pistol.
Yeah, little pistol. It's quite tiny. It's got, and yeah.
Put it up.
Yeah, I think you could only reload it once and put one bullet in and shoot it every time. Like I don't think there's.
Yeah, you gotta,
because it's that. Yeah, you have to do it one bullet at a time. I don't think it because of how small it is. It's quite adorable. I love how out of all games, Phantom Forces has like the tiniest gun. Like I'm sure they just had to do it for the meme. Like what I'm saying, they were like, come on, let's. I know we're known as a shooting game, but out of all guns that we could possibly release, let's actually make a tiny little gun. So I think that is very creative and all the interesting designs. Yeah, and I love how the Adopt Me gun is just drenched with honey. Yeah, I think that's all quite interesting.
That's quite creative, actually.
Yeah, yeah, I think that was an interesting design decision.
Honeycomb.
Yeah, no, I never associated with Adopt Me with honey, so I mean, I was like. I guess.
No, I have. They have that like honeybee area in the game, which is a bit bizarre.
Yeah, but I didn't think out of the honey area. I didn't think they were gonna.
Though.
Yeah, I didn't really think they would make that the highlight, But I think that's quite cool. Yeah. Yeah, I thought they were gonna do something like based on penguins in that penguin area, or. Sorry.
Well, maybe. Well, I'm intrigued what they're gonna do next. That's the intriguing thing because they can't use that again, surely.
Yeah, I don't know.
They do another collab with them, sure.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Well, apparently Adopt Me is going through several renovations at the moment. I haven't seen any actual pictures yet, but I think that's quite interesting. Actually, they themselves are renovating some areas of the game, and I don't think Adopt Me has been touched for a while, so I'm looking forward to see what the hell they're
I haven't really seen any updates coming. We'll probably get some review. Like, oh yes, there has been.
Yeah, I mean. Some people say that they've played Adopt Me and then it just feels like the same since the last 2 years that they played it. So, I mean, I can't necessarily agree or disagree. I don't know.
It depends.
Yeah, it really does
some
depend.
Some people play the game, they leave the game for a month, and then they come back and they're looking for something new.
Yeah.
And they don't get that feeling of new. They just click out again. So maybe this is that way of breaking the ice. Where when players that have come back from a long time ago, when they return, it doesn't feel like it's the exact same experience they had last time. Yes, it would be the exact same experience, but the actual look of the game gives you a second thought. Yeah. So I'm intrigued what they're going to come up with.
I really do think Adopt Me needs a visual upgrade, for sure. I just do feel like it's been quite a long time. But otherwise, that's so far, that's all the stuff on the Nerf guns, essentially. Apologies, everyone. We just had a technical complication. No surprise there. Of course, I'm just going to get back onto the news. So, on to our next topic. A game by the name of Electric State has been taken down for copyright. And so far, from what I've read up on, essentially, is that they had a name or asset infringement from what I've essentially done research on. And I find this quite interesting because it's actually been quite a while since we've actually heard of a game being taken down for copyright. And I think there's actually a huge problem that a lot of creators are facing, and I think one day there will. I think one day there definitely will be a day of reckoning, let's say, where there'll just be so many games taken down for copyright. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I do think there are some games on the platform that are, on the brink of essentially being copyrighted, but they haven't been done so essentially because, there's like millions of games on the platform. Um, but yeah, I don't think it's looking good for Roblox in terms of copyright. I think there's a lot of games that
But
Roblox need to worry about. And I think this is
I
essentially
don't
a prime
think.
example right here.
Yes, it's a good example, but I don't think we've got the full picture of the story yet. Because how all games have been copyrighted so far have been a third party, i.e., let's say you
Yeah,
made a game,
yeah,
that game corresponds to a real life company on the outside. If the outside company sees this
yeah,
game, they then go, "Hey Roblox, this is not on," and then Roblox take it down. That's the normal regime.
yeah,
I don't I think that that's the only way. I mean, if you have a look on the platform, Star Wars games, Game of Thrones games, you name it, there's loads of them. But of course, no one talks about them because these companies couldn't give a crap about these games. And then if they do have a problem, they'll contact Roblox and Roblox will take them all down. That's just how it works. It's black and white. But I don't think what we're going to get with this game is, I think it depends on the copyright. I don't know if it's a third company involved, but a third company,
yeah,
they wouldn't be given a second chance for them to come back because Roblox wouldn't take the chance that they come back. They're gone.
yeah,
And there's a bunch of games which I'm not going to name, which have already happened to be the case. Now, if let's say there's a company out there or an organization that isn't happy about a name, but the actual game doesn't correlate their actual thing. So let's say you've got a game called The, and then that obviously you can't copyright that, but I'm just using it as an example. And let's say the game is called The, and that gets taken down copyright because of the name, and that name gets changed, then it can come back again because it's not copying
yeah,
that name or that brand. So I think it depends on what you're copying. If you're copying the whole brand from black to white, it's going to be taken down. If you accidentally nicked a name or branding issue, then that can be resurrected. I think it's the difference between copyright the whole game and branding. I
yeah.
think that's the difference there.
Well, I mean,
So
I
I
don't think
think
you're wrong. I'm essentially just saying. I mean, you're 100% right. I'm just saying it's definitely a possibility that someone can go around mass copywriting games, and that's what I mean by the day of reckoning. Like I said, I do know that for a fact there are some games out there that can be copyrighted. All it takes is that person to essentially light the fire. Just think of every other game as a gasoline. You know, and I think that's just a danger I think we've got to worry about in future. But of course, the next thing we need is like 5 million lawsuits or something just suddenly popping out of nowhere. Like what? Like. But hopefully,
mm,
I don't know.
I
It all comes down to creator responsibility. I think at the end of the day.
no, I got a feeling that it's a miss of information. If you think about it, when a creator comes on the platform, they are inspired by many things. They could have watched a TV program, be inspired. They could have done something, played a game, and they're inspired. And they think, oh, I would love to create something like that. I would love to do this. I'd love to do that. And of course, you can do that and create that, and then you make a game out of it. But the problem is, I just think that Roblox should educate game creators a little
Oh
bit
yeah,
more
they for sure
on
have done that for
on
sure. I think they've done that at
not
RDC,
really.
but I wouldn't
Yeah, but
say.
that's not on the wide spectrum. That's just in a very narrow, untalked about area.
I mean, yeah, I
Yes,
mean, not everyone
RDC
watches
is.
RDC, like, there has to be some sort of universal way. Because, as the platform grows, yeah, people will have to be more knowledgeable of copyright. And how do you teach that to, like, a 12-year-old kid, It's like,
That is the problem
that
that
is
we're
the problem. I
facing.
think that is the problem. It's the age demographic and something as complex as copyright. They don't kind of mix, Young children and copyright don't mix, And I think
It
that's the
took me
biggest clash.
years to learn how I understand copyright. So
Yeah.
I don't see
Yeah.
how, at the moment, it's going to be.
I mean, there's some grown adults who are even YouTubers who don't even understand. So, I mean, really, it is
There
a
we
very
go.
complicated issue. But yeah,
Yeah.
as you know, yeah, I think we could certainly agree on that. And lastly, yeah, I think we should get on to our last topic. Is yeah, Russo, DJ Monopoly, as well as I'm not exactly sure of the third one, but yeah, I think they called themselves the Crew or something like. No, that's It's Funny. Yeah, they called themselves the Crew with the K. But yeah, I would just like to say these three YouTubers in particular, who are essentially like how do I say this? I'll call them a force really. Have essentially created a new platform, a media platform called Infinite Canvas, where they essentially, all three of them, essentially can collaborate with developers and artists and all different types of, media-based people. And I think that's quite an interesting idea. It's not necessarily, it's more. Oh yeah, well, in the forms of gaming, in the forms of development, or anything really. From based on the trailer, that it was kind of very abstract. There was no exact idea in terms of what they are going to be doing. They essentially just said, "Well, we'll see where it goes." So
And they use the word collaboration, so I think
yeah,
it sums up the whole thing. I think
really,
it's quite. I think it's a good. I think it's a good vision going forwards. You've got a channel which then, if you have the connections and you
yeah, yeah,
have a very good connection with a load of people, you could actually, you've got a community around that. You've got a bunch of people that are dedicated to doing it. You collab with, let's say, you want to collab with a YouTuber or you want
yeah,
to collab with a developer, they can do that. They're not tying themselves to one place. They're fully open.
yeah,
And I'm intrigued to see where this channel is going to go
yeah.
because it seems like they said that they're going to have conversations that no one's going to understand. So I'm intrigued what that's going to mean.
Well, no, but he meant that in terms of inside jokes, but I don't know why they had to
Yes,
mention that. But that was still
yes,
quite awesome, though.
yes, but that's why I'm
Um,
intrigued.
yeah. Well, yeah, I hope
um,
Russo and his group do actually well with this. I think I'm excited to see where this is going to go. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they come up with. But yeah, otherwise, there's not much other news we can really discuss this week. It's been a very, very, very slow news week. And yeah, so far, this is what we've got. Otherwise, anything else you'd like to say, Unix,
not really.
before we
It's
head off?
pretty dire.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the DevCast. We're going to see you guys all next week. Cheers.